Did you know that League of Legends free-to-play model with Riot Points and Influence Points wasn't actually designed solely by Riot Games? When Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill set off with former Dota developers to create their own MOBA experience in 2006, they knew right off the bat that they wanted their game to be free-to-play while supported monetarily through microtransactions. They figured that making their game free-to-play would prevent them from alienating old-school Dota All-Stars fans who had grown accustomed to their mod being free for anyone who had a copy of Warcraft 3: The Frozen Throne. Making League of Legends available to everyone this way would also make it easier for them to hook newer players, since someone just being introduced to this freshly emerging MOBA genre wouldn't be turned away by some sort of paywall. To set up their free-to-play business model, Riot made a deal with another company called Fat Fugu very early into the game's development. Fat Fugu is an agency that's dedicated to creating systems for developers that allows them to monetize their games mostly through microtransactions, and ended up being the driving force behind the League of Legends Riot Point and Influence Point system. Even back in beta, this system was praised heavily by journalists for not affecting gameplay while still being appealing to many fans as something that's worth dropping a few bucks on. Fat Fugu proudly advertised Riot as one of their clients and wrote multiple articles on their website promoting the game as early as the closed beta's initial release. And of course, while both enterprises aren't exactly affiliated with each other anymore, they've both found massive success since their partnership. Fat Fugu would be bought by the e-commerce firm Digital River for $10 million just 6 months after League of Legends release. Digital River is a corporation and subsequent family of companies who's provided a number of payment and marketing services to a wide range of high-profile clients, including many giants in the video gaming industry, such as Microsoft, Capcom, Square Enix, Ubisoft, Razer, Logitech, and Acer. Riot Games, of course, has gone above and beyond their expectations, making nearly $1 billion of revenue in the 2014 year alone, more than double the revenue the entire Digital River family made that very same year. During League of Legends' early stages of development, the game spent a little over a half a year in a closed beta as it was first made available to the public. On October 21st, 2009, Riot would open up their beta for everyone to try, where each closed beta tester had their accounts reset to level 1 while being gifted the King Rammus skin as Riot's way of saying thanks for testing out their game. The game would only be an open beta for 1 week from October 21st to October 27th, when the game went live with Season 1 and version 1.0, which has been updated ever since. Now, we've all seen some frustrating hacks and exploits that people have used recently, such as the Fiora Auto Attack Ultimate from Level 1 issue that popped up not too long ago, but the closed beta, however, had some very interesting bugs to say the least, some of which had more of an effect on gameplay than anything we've seen today. For example, when Anivia was first released into the game, there was something that fans dubbed the Uber Stun glitch, which was a pretty weird and game-breaking issue when it was first discovered. When an Anivia player shot her Q, Flash Frost at her Fountain Turret in base at just the right spot, if she reactivated the ability, the Q would behave as if it hit every single opponent on the map. All enemy minions and champions would be nuked and stunned regardless of where they stood, whether that Anivia player had vision of them or not. This allowed the Anivia who sat in base with enough AP to just farm every single minion on the map and get multiple pentakills, basically winning the game instantly for her team. Two more popular bugs first made their way into the game when Heimerdinger and Poppy were both introduced. Both of these champions possessed new mechanics that Riot hadn't previously worked with, which allowed players to quickly find exploits through abusing the map. The Heimerdinger issue occurred when a Heimerdinger player placed his turrets at his own base at the start of the Nexus to clog up minions as they spawned. As the game rolled on, each wave of minions would stack up upon themselves and all get stuck in a walking animation behind those two turrets. Eventually, whenever the player saw fit, he could place more turrets down to make his previous ones disappear, unleashing a gigantic wave of minions that would push down the lane and destroy everything in their path. Poppy's bug, on the other hand, had to deal with Baron. Since Poppy's E heroic charge allowed her to move all minions and champions, stunning them if they ran into a wall, why should it be any different with boss monsters? Whenever a Poppy player wanted, she could move Baron by heroic charging into it over and over and push him all across the map wherever she wanted. She could push him into her base, the enemy's base, she could move him into a tower's range, and then after getting aggroed by the turret, the Baron would eventually auto-attack back and take it down. She could even move him into her own fountain if she were persistent enough, and he'd eventually die to it after fighting back and trying to take that tower down as well. But probably one of, if not the most infamous glitch, was the God Mode Karthus bug, which made its way into the game with the release of Karthus and another never-before-seen ability. When Karthus was first introduced, his passive had a terrifying issue, where when he first died in-game, if there were any projectiles or spells headed towards him as he entered Spirit Mode, they'd land on him and make text pop up saying, invulnerable. Now that doesn't sound too bad. The Karthus player would eventually die, he'd have a normal death timer, and the game would continue. Nothing would seem out of place at first. His passive was just doing its job. The issue with this bug, though, was when that Karthus player finally respawned, his character would still say invulnerable whenever anyone or anything attacked him from then onwards, leaving him completely invincible, able to run around the map, tower diving, pretty much doing whatever he wants until he decides to win the game. And of course, what would a Did You Know episode be without a little League of Legends trivia? Warwick is a champion that we've all had to deal with all the time recently as of patch 4.20, but did you know that you can search for him in Champion Select through typing URF into the search bar, which of course is a reference to the lore interaction that Warwick and URF have. Warwick has also been featured in a graphical promotion for his Hyena skin when it was released, as he made the cover of Valorant Geographic, obviously referencing National Geographic. Another cool reference to Warwick throughout another skin in League of Legends is the Headless Hecarim skin, where you can see the skulls of both Warwick and Rengar hanging from Hecarim's belt. And finally, did you know that the Gentleman Cho'Gath skin was the first skin to ever receive a voiceover, and was also the first skin that was directly inspired, or at least influenced by fans? It was first suggested on the forums back in 2010 when a summoner named Weezus Christ said somebody should make a skin for Cho'Gath that gives him a top hat, monocle, and cane, and call it Gentleman Cho'Gath. Writer Jeff Jew would respond quickly saying a swanky Cho'Gath may or may not be in the works, but what's actually funny about this is the first two replies to that thread condemned the idea, saying it was either impossible or just plain stupid.
You, sir, are a coward and a ruffian.
Thank you all very much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. If you enjoyed, you should definitely check out the other 3 episodes of Did You Know League of Legends, linked on your screen right there. If you would like to see future episodes or any more of my content, you can of course subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it very much, but until next time, thank you very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.